will be the first one after the introductions. So
okay.
I know you Perfect. Have to run away, so I will give
you. And how many time I have?
So you will have a 60-second pitch, and then as you will have to leave shortly, maybe we ask immediately a question directly to you, so you can.
Okay, 60 seconds, and you have to speak about that.
That is exactly what we want to know.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we are live right now. The attendees are starting to join in. And we wait for a couple of seconds, and then we can start. I see they are joining in also on YouTube as well. So let me start by saying how excited I am. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alessandro. I'm the managing director of U40, and I could not be more happy than right now to see so many nice people being here present and really coming here and coming together as young Europeans to inspire others to make something very nice and very beautiful with their lives. All of you guys have done something amazing during the pandemic, and I am truly excited to hear all your projects. We are trying at U40, the network of young MEPs, to be a bit out of the box with this event. We will try. We will see. It's something I think has not been done before. Our idea is, to showcase in a different way what young Europeans from all over Europe have done during the pandemic. So the idea will be to have a short framing, a brief introduction. I see that the Deputy Director General Signerazzo has just joined us. So great to have her here. And great to have all of you and all the participants here. You will have 60 seconds to tell us what you have done. It's an elevator pitch. And then we will have a discussion on what you have done. If Signe is here and turns on the camera, I would like to give her the floor for some introductory remark. She is the Deputy Director General of Research and Innovation at the European Commission. Hi, Signe, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We can hear you very well.
Okay. Excellent. Now I'm really happy to join your discussion today. And as you know better than anybody else, Europe clearly cannot live without you, the youth, our engine. And this is why exactly at the European level, we set up what we call the EU Youth Strategy, which is the framework for EU youth policy cooperation until 2027. And really this EU youth cooperation shall make the most of youth potential. Because what does it do? It fosters youth participation in democratic life. It also supports social and civic engagement and ensures that young people have the necessary resources to take part in society. And what you've done during the COVID crisis was incredible. I was really proud to read about your actions. For example, thanks to the European Solidarity Corps, which is one of the EU tools in favor of youth. And I read several examples there, but there's no time. I only give a couple of them. For instance, I read about Natasha and other volunteers from the Circles, which is a Croatian Center for Education and Charitable Work, who have been helping elderly people, bringing groceries, medicines, other necessary items to the people in need. And I know that this is something that young people undertook in several parts of Europe during the crisis. There was also an example about Yasmina in the Netherlands, who delivered healthy and affordable meals using ecological products and sustainable packaging. Since the beginning of the crisis, also the European Youth Forum, I know that there are also representatives participating at today's discussion, also has worked to ensure that no young person was left behind, and also that young organizations, youth organizations, were supported in the solidarity actions. And I know that you presented a series of recommendations which actually very much coincide what is actually promoted by the Commission, namely the actions to have social, economic inclusion, human rights, civic space, and participation in mind. Now, let me just explore very briefly about the role that the European Commission has played during the recent COVID-19 crisis. As I represent DG Research and Innovation, I'd really like to focus on this area in particular. We know that sometimes it's claimed that the Commission took time to react, or took too long time to react. In reality, the crisis really took everybody by surprise. The member states, the European Commission, but even the research community, because it was really unprecedented. The virus was something which was unknown, and really the speed with which it developed into pandemic was unprecedented. But still, without joining the forces of the Commission, as well as the member states, we certainly would not have been able to weather the crisis and really avoid the worst. Let me just give a few examples. On the health side, we were able to mobilize since the beginning of the virus 3 billion euros in order to develop tests, treatments, and vaccines. And we've also cooperated with the member states in order to build up the joint forces. And now we are already starting to deliver the first results, which will be really essential in order to now to be already prepared, better prepared for the second phase, and develop all that the health side needs. But it's also true on the economic side, because we used European funds to help the most vulnerable countries and sectors, and also facilitated the use of national funds by amending the state aid rules, just to give a few examples. But here I'd particularly like to praise you, young people, really taking initiatives to support the crisis management, designing the masks, helping the elderly, as I said, but also organizing hackathons in order to deliver urgently needed solutions. I can give an example about my home country, Estonia, which already in mid-March organized Hack the Crisis Hackathon. And this gave an example also for the Commission and for the EU as a whole to organize then EU versus the crisis in cooperation with the member states. And I know that there is also one of the winners is among the speakers today here. But I'd also like to call on you to stay active in fighting the crisis. It hasn't disappeared yet. We still have daily new cases raised over 200,000 per day. And beyond the crisis, we are facing also grand societal challenges that we need to tackle together. And there we will have green and digital transitions that will change our economies, that will change our societies. And this is in your hands, because really you will be living in the world of the future. But in order to be better prepared for that, then I'd really like to encourage you to also to work together with the Commission to work with all of us in order to achieve it. And finally, let me just give 3 concrete examples. What we are promoting in our area of policy area is the role of universities. The role of universities as essential actors of change, also contributors to the response of the pandemic, European Green Deal, digitalization, but also spin-offs that provide disruptive innovations. Then I'd like to mention Erasmus+, a European University Initiative that is already acting as a test bed for the acceleration of structural, systemic, sustainable transformation. Now, let me also mention the 5 missions, which are part of Research and Innovation Horizon Europe, the next framework program. And 4 of them are in the green transition area, namely missions which deal with climate adaptation, soil health, also oceans, or the mission which aims to create 100 climate neutral European cities by 2030. In all of this, we engage a lot also citizen engagement, and particularly that of the youth. And I know again that the European Youth Forum has been already active. And another opportunity will be at the end of September, when we are going to have Research and Innovation Days in a digital format from the 22nd to 24th of September. And we also have quite a few co-creation sessions with citizens and with the young. So I'd also like to encourage to take an active part there. Thank you very much.
We will for sure bring all these young minds to those days. Thank you, Signe. I actually would like really to stress that you talk about science and innovation, and I'm sure that with our first speaker, Christian, you will have a lot of fun because he invented something super great. Before going to Christian, I would like to give the floor to Andrea from the European Youth Forum. Andrea, what on your side, being one of the biggest youth representative organization, what on your side is important in this period?
Yes, hi everyone. Maybe just a couple of words about who we are, just in case some of you are not super aware of who we are and what we do. So I'm Andrea, I'm a member of the board of the European Youth Forum. We are a European non-profit, non-governmental youth organizations. We are youth-led, we're led by young people. We are a platform of youth organizations. We have within us over 100 organizations that are either working at national level, what we call national youth councils, or at international level. Maybe like the Scouts or the Erasmus Student Network, the European Students Union. There's several of them. And what we do is basically we work to ensure that the rights of young people in Europe are fulfilled. Our vision is to be the voice of young people in Europe. So we basically represent the interests of young people and of youth organizations when we work with the institutions of the European Union, with the European Commission, with the European Parliament, but we also work with the United Nations and with the Council of Europe. And we work on all the topics, or let's say on many topics that are important for young people today, going from climate change to social and economic inclusion and employment and future of work and so on. So of course we could not work on what's happening today in the world. And as Signe said, indeed, young people really showed up during the crisis, and I'm very happy to be here today to listen to you actually, instead of to be the one speaking, because you are among the ones who really did the work during the crisis. But we have several examples, and at the Youth Forum we really have been working also towards showing what young people all over Europe are doing. And one thing that we worked on recently is what we are calling a blueprint to recovery. So we have a document that you can find also on our website, where we basically gathered evidence and we're bringing examples of how COVID-19 affected young people. And we also bring, from Europe's youth, really concrete policy demands, policy requests on how to, move after the crisis and how to plan the recovery. But as I said, I'm here mainly in a listening mode, and I look forward to hearing about all of the things that you've been doing.
Super. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you to the European Youth Forum. So I will give you all the information regarding all the organizations that are supporting us today, and I really would like to thank them. But before going there, I would like to present to you Daniela and Eloise, without whom this would have not been possible. They are my colleagues at EU40. Thanks a lot to both of them. They will let me moderate this discussion. And now let's dive into what really is interesting, which is Signe earlier was talking about research and innovation in various fields, among which the health one. I'm truly honored here to have here Christian Fracassi from Isinnova. Ciao, Christian. In these examples, I am really proud not only to be European, but to be Italian, because Christian will tell us now what he has done during the coronavirus crisis.
Okay, thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. My name is Christian. I'm a civil engineer. I'm 37 years old, and I'm the founder of Isinnova, a small research center in Italy. We develop, with the help of a doctor, at the beginning of March, a valve. We called them Charlotte valve in honor of my wife, and connected with a snorkeling traditional mask. It can become a respiratory mask. We created the file, and because we only have a 3D printer, we prefer to share the file online, so all the people can download it and print it. And in about 2 or 3 days, we had about 2 million downloads of the file. And for now, there are about 150,000 masks in use all over the world. We started helping 2 only hospitals in my city, but I found that the same project can be useful also in other countries. So in some days, all the project became international, and we help Brazil, Canada, USA, Germany, Australia, all over the world about. So we also create other two small projects. The first one is the conversion of a Venturi valve into a 3D printed one. And the third project we created is to give for free for the poorest country like Mozambique some 3D printed directly, so they can produce themselves all the objects they need for COVID.
Fantastic, Christian. It's really something incredible what you guys have done, and I'm sure we're all looking at this, being really proud that young people can make a difference. This device, I was reading in the newspaper, because now Christian is a public face in all over Italy and Europe, has saved hundreds of lives. So congratulations on this. I see Signe that is writing excellent example, and I truly believe so. So thank you, Christian. I will give the floor now to Daniela, who will introduce the next speaker.
Thank you very much, Alessandro. And I can only echo what was just said. It really is an amazing project, Christian. And it's amazing to see what we can do when we come together, when we work on our ideas, and how many people we can actually affect and help. And that takes me to the next project, and that will be with Omri, who is the managing director and co-founder of Alliance for Europe, which is a civic startup that brings together pro-democratic actors to foster civic engagement and social impact. They have been working on an amazing fintech project that aims to help local communities with their process to recovery, social and economic recovery after this pandemic. And I'll let Omri explain to you what exactly this project is.
Hi, thanks a lot, Daniela, and thank you very much for the invite. So Alliance for Europe has been working with the Social Trade Organization, a Dutch partner, to frame a system that is a technology tool, a financial technology tool, which enables local businesses and regions across Europe to trade with one another within a community, which means that the recovery funds that are being used do not get lost, do not leave the region, but circulate within the region to develop it inclusively, and then adding to it a negative interest, which facilitates and incentivizes faster spending and faster trading and greater income for local businesses, which means a faster recovery. So this is essentially a tool for a healthier, more sustainable, and more inclusive economic and social recovery across Europe. We've had the interest of several regions already to join, for example, Barcelona, Sardinia, and many others. And we're essentially looking now for support from the European Commission, from the different European institutions, and also private sector partners to really be able to take this off the ground. It's based on software that has already got a tried and tested track record. It's called Siklos. And there are examples of similar initiatives based on this software already working and having an impact. And so we are very much looking forward to bringing this to action across Europe. And thank you very much.
Fantastic, Omri. I think this is really an example of how coming together really gives something. And you are the guys that won the European Commission hackathon. So this is something that no one will take away. Eloise, off you go.
Yes, so now it's my turn to have the honor to introduce another speaker, Simone Morse from the Gentlewoman Club, particularly on their aid neighboring system that they have put in place during the pandemic and the lockdown. And if I understood it right, it's a system that was geared up to help Brussels neighborhoods during the pandemic, and especially older and more vulnerable people. So Simone, please take the floor. I'm really looking forward to know a bit more about this initiative.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I hope you can all hear me. Perfect. Yes, so first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. I mean, following up from Omri and Christian is, of course, very hard to meet. So I try my best here. So yeah, my name is Simone Morse, and I'm here to talk about the Gentlewomen's Club. We are a value-based and diverse network helping women to become less judgmental and more supportive to each other. During the pandemic, we have created a neighboring mapping system for our members who live in the same neighborhood, as you rightfully said, and to check in with each other, to be able to ask for help when needed. And just to be there for each other, especially because some of our members live by themselves, so it's always good to check in with each other. Similar to our buddy system, we also paired members up with students from the College of Europe to just ensure them that they are having a good transition from their academic career to their professional career. So if you're interested to hear more about our initiatives, I'm happy to give more information later, or you can check us on our website. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Simone. It's really hard to follow all these great ideas. But the next one in line, I would like to give the floor to a good friend of mine, Lucrezia, who has founded, together with other young people, the network of young Italians in Belgium. And I think they have done something truly remarkable, bringing together people abroad. Lucrezia, tell us what you've done, please.
Yes, so thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Forti, Daniela, Luis, for having Regib today. So I'm the president of Regib. Regib is an association of young Italians. So the aim is to create the first social and professional network of young Italians in Belgium. And what we did during the crisis that I think is worth, let's say, sharing is, as we saw Italy, our home country, that was one of the most hit countries from the pandemic in March. As young Italians in Belgium, we felt quite helpless watching this tragedy unfold before our eyes, and also through the testimonies of our loved ones. And so we decided that we couldn't be spectators, and we wanted to stand with our people and contribute from Belgium as well. And so without a website, because at the time we didn't have one, without social media, without a logo, so essentially being no one, we launched a fundraiser for the Italian Red Cross on GoFundMe. You're probably familiar with the platform. And in a few weeks, I'm happy to report that with the help of 7 fellow associations, so just to name a few, Young Italians in Switzerland, the College of Europe Italian Society, 96 donors, individual donors, that is, and the power of course, the internet and our personal and professional network, we raised 4,000 euros, which is a small but honest amount, for the Italian Red Cross of Milan in Lombardy. And as you know, it was the region that was hit the most from the pandemic and from the COVID. So I think I just wanted to highlight the success of the campaign, which was also picked up by national and European media, including the European Parliament, was really thanks to the power of the network that we've created. So we now have more or less 50 young Italians in our association. And also the willingness of our members so young Italians in this case, to make a difference from abroad, to be able to help our country and contribute, not only during the pandemic, but in general, during our time abroad to our country. So we will certainly stay active and stay united to continue to do that. This is just in a few words what we've done during the pandemic.
Thank you so much, Lucrezia. I mean, I think it's a really great initiative, because I've seen many of my friends, Italians living in Belgium, so abroad, that were in a lot of distress seeing the situation in Italy, and being abroad, they felt quite powerless. So it's really great initiative that you did to coordinate their action. So thank you for that, Lucrezia. Now I'm going to introduce another speaker that I know quite well, Karolina Kurkova. I worked with her during her mandate. So her mandate was that she is actually the EU Ed delegate for the youth engagement group of the G7. So she was part of the EU delegation that participated in the youth engagement to the G7 this year, which was held online. And one of the first things that they did when the COVID-19 crisis hit, was to come together as one and introduce a COVID-19 communication reflecting what the international response should be in the eyes of the youth. So please, Karolina, takes the floor.
Thank you so much, Elise, and thank you so much to all of you. It is a real treat to hear about all of these initiatives. So congratulations. Our initiative was within the whole Y7 engagement was hard, as we were trying to connect issues of youth across the globe. So as the European delegation to the G7 Youth Engagement Group 2020, in response to the COVID-19 crisis and side by side of our colleagues from the G7 countries, we aim to steer the world leaders into recognizing a particular position of youth, underlining both our needs and our responsibilities. We were disappointed by the lack of this subject in the G7 leaders' March statement, and we tried to react as quickly as possible, basically finishing the whole Y7 statement on COVID and youth within a week, and only a few days after Europe went on lockdown. So by the time, we were also very disappointed by the lack of coordination among the member states, because as international students and young professionals, we were heavily affected by the swift changes and the related uncertainty, as I'm sure many of you were. So surely the added value of our contribution was that we could have pointed out a substantial number of issues experienced by us directly or by our friends and our network. So our delegation especially underlined a strong need for better mental health support for young people, also improvements in digital education and mobility settings, and facilitating circumstances for students engaged in fighting the crisis. Finally, we are also pointing out the need to provide incentives for building resilience-based local youth projects, as many of you actually were doing by the time. We also strongly supported the points about multinationalism and reinforcement and preservation of democratic rights during the pandemic. Afterward, it was also thrilling to present our work to and receive reactions, encouragement, and specific commitments, very specific commitments actually, from the Commissioner Maria Gabriel, and also from the President of the Commission, von der Leyen, and other EU representatives. So finally, we obviously built upon the COVID-19 statement in our final Y7 2020 recommendations in order to ensure a continuing attention to the youth and COVID-linked issues. So you may find all of these online. For further details, or contact us at any time directly. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much, Karolina. Once again, it is fascinating to see that regardless of how young we are, regardless of what people might think of our youth, they always have the power to come together, have ideas, and be part of the solutions in moments of crisis. And this takes me now to another great initiative, in this case, with Vivian, who is a representative of the young professionals in digital policy. And Vivian will share with us the mentorship program that they have created, which I think is going to be incredibly important for young people who are right now looking for jobs.
Thanks, Daniela. I hope everyone can hear me well. My name is Vivian, and I'm here to represent YPDP today. YPDP stands for Young Professionals in Digital Policy. We're a network of about 300 people working in EU digital policy under the age of 35. And our mission is to connect young professionals to create a network for career development. During non-COVID times, we actually organized many networking events, and we have also organized some virtual events since February, but we wanted to do more to help those affected by the crisis. So what we've done is we've launched the YPDP Summer Mentorship Program to help prepare young graduates that are now struggling to get summer internships during these exceptional times. The program will run over the summer and pair mentors and mentees to provide a platform to get advice on how to, for example, act in an interview, develop your CV, or how to build a professional network. So the goal is really to prepare young graduates and interns for their next job opportunity. So we've paired 27 mentors and mentees and are excited to kick off the project in the coming days, and it'll run until October. So yeah, 60 seconds, I'm probably already over, but let me just say that if you're working in digital policy in Brussels or elsewhere in Europe and you're under the age of 35 and you're not a member yet, feel free to Google us. We have a website where we have a contact form through which you can contact us and sign up to be a member of YPDP. It's fully free, of course. Thank you for the opportunity to present today and for your attention.
Thank you, Vivian. It's always hard to stay in 60 seconds, but no worry. I am actually myself a member of their network, and I can assure they do not only great events, but especially right now, the time is complicated for many young people in Brussels and all over Europe. So their mentorship program is going to be something truly inspiring for people to get out of this complicated situation. Talking about complicated times and taking them with a pinch of salt, I would like now to give the floor to Sara Bianchi, who is the co-founder of Lo Spiegone, which is a fantastic Italian, there are a lot of Italians today. It's a fantastic Italian web magazine that goes really in deep analysis of issues. And Sara is here to talk about the In Trouble campaign. Sara, tell us what you guys have done.
Hi, everybody. I hope that you can hear me. First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. I'm Sara, and as Alessandro was saying, 5 years ago, I co-founded Lo Spiegone, that is an Italian online newspaper that actually now is formed by more than 70 Italian young professionals living all around the globe. Our goal is to explain the core topics of international affairs and relations in a simple and accessible way. In Italy, as you were saying, the COVID crisis has been really tough, and we had to stay at home for several months. And by being a youth organization, we decided to help our community, our virtual community, and our readers, and to be as close as possible to them. For this reason, thanks to our social media team, we developed the project In Trouble Be Home, since our motto is In Trouble Be Clear. This was about sharing every day on our social media a book, movie, or song tip from our favorite ones. And since the beginning, we noticed that lots of people were really appreciating the project, and they even started suggesting us some tips that we shared through the crisis. We are very proud of it because it gave us the opportunity to connect in a simple and new way with our readers and to create a community and to be together in that tough time. So thank you for this opportunity to speak about our project.
Thank you very much, Sara. I think it's also another very powerful project keeping people informed and connected is key, especially during a crisis. So thank you for that. And that makes me move to Sirina, who is representing the Global Shapers in Brussels. And she's going to talk about an amazing project, Body Talks, because I think even during a crisis, we can't forget about our mental health. And sometimes it's very easy to forget about it. And Sirina is going to tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to present our project here. So my name is Sirina Grimonpré, and I'm here for the Global Shapers Brussels Hub. For those who do not know the Global Shapers, we are a network of young people present in many countries all over the world, and we initiate projects to have an impact on a local level on different domains such as inclusion, sustainability, or other topics. Today I'm here to present to you the Body Talks project, and it grew out of the idea that today the fashion industry and standards linked to success, an emphasis on diversity has been largely left in the background. So while body positivity has been promoted to a great extent, unhealthy body images linked to low self-esteem and poor mental health are still very present in our society today. And my colleagues of the Global Shapers had the idea to initiate this project, and together we share stories of people who share their experiences or something, an event that happened to them with us, and we share those stories anonymously on our website or other social media channels. And with this, we aim to reach as many people as possible in society to change the pre-imposed ideas about body image and diversity, and of course also to promote a more healthy body image concepts and that are more inclusive and diverse. So maybe if you would be interested to contribute, you can of course check our website and our social media channels in your network. But also if you might have a story of your own to share, you can also do that via the website or the Google form, and we would be very happy to share that anonymously. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sirina. I mean, it's a great project as well, because mental health, especially during the lockdown, was a true challenge for many of us, and the consequences of the lockdown are still here, and of course beyond, but also body image, this in itself, but also beyond that. I think you touched the right point as to focusing your project on mental health, as you know, it's a tricky part of the consequences behind the COVID-19, but I think it's worthwhile, and we need much more initiatives like yours. So thank you so much. The next speaker is Juliette Combray. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really pleased to introduce you today, yourself, but also your project, Granny Community, which is a digital system that was created during COVID-19 pandemic, and especially the lockdown, to help connecting young people with elderly through Skype and video chats. And it actually won the first prize of the hackathon COVID-19 organized by HEC Paris, Polytechnique, and Sciences Po Paris. So congratulations, and please take the floor.
Hello, everyone, and thank you. So during the lockdown, it took me a whole month to make a video call with my 82-year-old grandma. 1 month between the day we got the idea and the day we finally saw each other through the computer. And before the pandemic, I never realized how complicated a FaceTime call could be for the elderly or people with disabilities. The second thing I wasn't aware of before the lockdown was the huge amount of citizens suffering from loneliness. I didn't know that social isolation accelerates the risk of depression, cognitive decline, and premature deaths. So I wondered, how is it possible in 2020 to suffer from social isolation while technology allows us to be extremely connected? And to solve my grandma's problems, I developed Granny with 2 friends. As you said, Eloise, it's an easy and friendly video call tool designed for those who aren't comfortable with technology. Our goal is to reconnect generation and fight loneliness. Thank you.
Thank you, Giulietta. We all have grandmas or relatives, and we all want to be connected to them. So truly, what you have built, I think it's truly remarkable. So congratulations, and thank you for sharing it with us. So I am going to the last of our speakers. We keep the best for last. I would like to give the floor to Marion, who works for the J&J Foundation. And Marion, you were telling me when we talked over the phone recently that you worked also on a psychological support to frontline health workers. Tell me more about that, and tell us what the foundation has done recently.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for the invitation, and I'm really pleased to see that mental health is coming up here. So tackling the pandemic, the focus and my focus very quickly became the support and resilience and mental health of frontline health workers, really launching programs on resilience and psychosocial support or mental health support. Recently, I heard a nurse saying how she's trying to hold every patient's hand when they're dying, but sometimes there are 20 deaths within a 12-hour shifts. So I think it's no surprise that frontline health workers and nurses are really experiencing a huge challenge. And given that we're experiencing also a huge shortage of frontline health workers, their resilience and mental well-being is going to be paramount to keep resilient health systems for the long term. So we set ourselves on a journey working with various partners and really across Europe and sometimes sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East, but really focusing on hotspots countries and thinking, how can we set up digital mental health solutions that are really accessible, that create peer-to-peer support so that nurses can speak to nurses, physician can speak to physician, and really exchange on their experiences and also their challenges from a mental well-being perspective. That also goes through teleconsultation with psychotherapy, and really realizing that there needs to be an online school for resilience so that people feel connected, they feel supported and not left alone and abandoned. Whenever possible, we're connecting to government initiatives so that we're not fragmenting efforts. In Belgium, for example, we're working with an organization called IDV that works also with the government to scale mental well-being services to primary care workers across Belgium. We're doing that across several European countries, and I've been very, very much involved, and I see an estimate of reaching 50,000 frontline health workers across various countries. So behind every statistic, there is a nurse like the one that I was telling you about that's really struggling. And in times of pandemic, they don't necessarily speak up because they don't want to be the focus, but we shouldn't forget them. So that's why I've gotten very much involved and seen that as a key priority. And thank you for sharing. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you, Marion. On this, before giving the floor to Daniela and especially to Andrea and Signe for some comments on what they have done, I would like to remind everyone that there is a Q&A box and the chat, so please feel free to ask a few questions. Maybe we can break the ice very briefly. Christian, as I know you have to run away very soon, you can respond to the question that came in from Nicole. She was asking, how have you used the mask before thinking of turning them into respiratory mask, and how it came the idea. In 60 seconds, please give us an answer.
Yes, I used before the mask, but only for snorkeling. And the idea comes from a retired doctor that called me after reading some article about me, about the Venturival. And he told me, for me, you can convert a snorkeling mask into a respiratory one. I will give you some medical information, and you can add your engineering competencies and try. So I tried, I project the valve, and I share.
Innovation, right there, you have it. You test, you try, and when it works, you go with it. Thank you very much for that, Christian. And I'm going to give Signe the floor one more time so she can comment from the Commission's perspective, everything that she's heard about so far, and give us some feedback on it.
Well, I'm sure. Let me see. Do you have the mic?
We can hear you well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you. Yes.
Very well. Excellent. Well, these were really excellent examples that you gave, and I was also amazed that you were able to pitch in 30 seconds really the real contents of your projects. And what was also amazing to see that really you've gone into action immediately. Looking forward to the possibilities where you can really change things. And the examples that you gave were from a very wide spectrum, from really what we call technological innovations, and really, as you saw on the basis of the example, that the production of the masks in a deep printing method, or the breathing aids and other gadgets was clearly something that people started to produce very early on. But then there were also examples of what we call social innovation projects, namely, which is typically where you see what are the issues in your local communities, in your neighborhood, and seek for the solutions. There were the examples how to bring the young and the elderly people together, how to develop the services that were needed at these times, how to look into the mental health issues, or just to find what is something which during the times of containment, particularly in the countries where these were the strictest, like in Italy, which was hit hard and at the very start, really what could help the people under these circumstances. So I think that really these were great examples, and I would encourage you to continue along these lines. So many, many thanks for inviting me. And as said, I will encourage you also to cooperate with us, with the Commission, and also to provide your very essential and positive contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Signe. Truly nice to have such a level at the European Commission that is ready to listen to us youth and then to take to stock on this and bring those examples in the rooms that actually matter. So thank you for that. Andrea, what do you think after you've heard all this? If we are able to keep it short, we can do maybe a round with everyone as well.
Yes. I mean, first of all, congratulations. I think it's impossible not to be amazed by everything that you've been doing. I was writing down some of your ideas, and I was also seeing links to the work that we do. For instance, you were working on topics that we also work on, sustainability, transition from school to work, intergenerational solidarity. These are very important things where we see that there are still, the young people still face many challenges, and we are also trying to find the solutions, and we're working with the ones who are capable of providing those solutions to make sure that these are really the right solutions. And I think from my side, if I can give a piece of advice or even a request, would be to count on youth organizations. I think some of you are from youth organizations, but maybe some of you are not. But please think of youth organizations all around you in your countries, because youth organizations are great to amplify your work. I think a lot of young people, youth organizations are great to reach out to young people that are a bit, often left behind by schools, by society in general. And I think your ideas could also have a big impact on the lives of these young people. So maybe work with youth organizations. And from the Youth Forum side, we also have a campaign that we call Separated by United, where we our aim is to showcase the work of youth organizations all over Europe during the crisis. So feel free to reach out to us. We're also very happy to disseminate it, show what young people, what youth organizations are doing today.
Thank you, Andrea. So now, of course, that is the nice side of doing something out of the box. It's going to be impossible in 10 minutes to give to all of you the floor. But if any of you wants to make a short statement, maybe we can actually try 1 minute each to give short statements. Please just tell us. On a side note, a few people, both on Twitter and on the Zoom, are asking us if you could share in the chat or somewhere your projects, so we make sure that that everyone knows about all the projects and how to find them. So who wants to react to what Andrea has just said, or to anything else? Anyone? I can't believe you guys.
It's a great opportunity to expand much more in the work that you've been doing in the project, in the impact that it could have, in the future that it has, in what you need. This is the moment, guys.
Actually,
Lucrezia, I see you want to go.
I wanted to thank U40 because even just being here and listening to other organizations and associations and what you've been doing. So the brainstorming session but also the learning session has already given me ideas for further cooperations and partnerships for not only Regib and the association, but in general for future endeavors. So the mentorship program that I heard, the European Youth Forum, I'm already thinking, oh, that's really interesting. Also, it's great to know that there's a network of young professionals working in digital policy. So it's really, I would actually have a request for EU40 if you could potentially put us in contact somehow. That would be really great, because I think this is the power of networks and young people when they come together and they create synergies. Just wanted to share this thought.
Absolutely. I saw Omri wanted to take the floor.
Hey, yeah, so yeah, again, let me echo that and thank you as well. It would be great to stay in touch with some of the speakers and see how these different startup initiatives could, support each other, have a louder voice together. And I think this is a really seminal historical period that we're going through. But I think we can take the opportunity to create a better future, essentially. So that's the mission right now.
Thank you, Omri. I think Sarah wanted to say something at some point.
Me?
Yes, maybe.
I was just writing our link, because if you want to know more about In Trouble Be Home, you can go on our Instagram page, on the inside of our Instagram page. And yes, I would like to thank you for the opportunity, and I would like to be in contact with other association or organization to create something, because we are working in the information and cultural field. So if you have some project or you want to develop some project, we are here and you can find us. Thank you.
Super. Anyone else before we close?
Yeah, it's Karolina speaking. Thank you so much again. I had a question in the Q&A that I thought that might be worth precising. It was from Linda, asking who decides the points of discussion of the Y7. So I'd like to underline that this was kind of a very improvised, from all around coming idea about us having issues, specific issues, being students and young professionals that are not sufficiently addressed by the leaders that we are supposed to address in our Y7 statement in June. And we really felt the need to use the floor that we have and the connection that we have towards the leaders directly to actually advocate for a better position and for much more attention to everything that we are doing and to everything that you guys doing that should be definitely supported and definitely underlined. So congratulations again. And
super. Thank you, Karolina. And now for the closing, I would like to give the floor back to Signe. Thank you, Signe, for being here and listening to us. Please take the floor.
Well, many thanks for organizing this discussion and also for the invitation. Well, as you know, I come from DG Research and Innovation, but my commissioner is not only responsible for research and innovation, but also for education and youth. So it's clearly my pleasure to be to spend this hour with you and to hear these excellent ideas and the projects, and also to see your commitment, the energy, and I hope that also the connections that have been now made during this discussion will really bring to fruitful results. But I'd also like to say a comment on this concerning this youth engagement in the G7. I think that if we gave a role, then the youth diplomats could find more easily a common language than would otherwise be the case. So I think it's also a good example. With what I'd like to conclude, because I've been also active in my life on the trade policy, a lot in international affairs, now also responsible for the association policy of research and innovation. And clearly, what we do globally, not only in the EU, but also globally with other actors. I was also very glad to see the comment which was made. Now I'm escaping the name, but also from the participant coming far away, but we really share the same ambitions and we need to cooperate together. Thank you very much again.
So thank you, Signe. So on behalf of U40, of the young MEPs, unfortunately tonight both of them had a last minute problem, but we will share definitely the video with all of them, and we will ask them to take a look and consider this in their policy work, as well as we did with the Commission, with the presence of Signe. So on behalf of U40, on behalf of Daniela, Eloise, and myself, I would like to thank you all for being here, all the participants on Zoom and on YouTube, and obviously all the speakers. You were amazing. Thank you very much. And then I would also like to give a big shout out to all the organizations, supporting organizations that have decided to join us today and to be part of the discussion. I will list them: European Youth Forum, European Health Parliament, European Youth Parliament, Opportuniseed, Global Shapers Brussels Hub, Lo Spiegone, Young European Leadership, Gentle Women's Club, Regib, Alliance for Europe, and YPDP. So thank you all. This shows really we were not expecting such a huge call for action to be responded in this way. A lot of organizations brought us, a lot and many more brought us today. We want to participate. Unfortunately, it was too late, but definitely we will do something similar in the upcoming months. Thank you all. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.